Welcome back to LEGO Wars. We are at last at the bracket stages, having sent 38 of the field packing for another series, and boy oh boy have we got a wild mix of machines still in the running. The seeds may have taken a battering in the heats, but thanks to some excellent showings in the play-ins, just over half of the 28 have clawed their way back into contention for the Series 6 title. Tonight's action will focus on the left-hand side of the bracket, so let's see who will be scrapping for the top 16.
First, from Carrollton, Texas, seeded number 1 and reigning champions, Slammo.
They've already outdone Tantrum's title defense by returning to the bracket, but that play-in berth has set them on an awkward path, so it'll be tough going if they wish to remain champs.
From Manchester, Agro Wubber.
After their poor Series 5, Wubber has come back with a vengeance as the Third Wars champs look in top form for returning to the grand final.
From Bristol, Bob.
In a way, the pretender to Wubber's crown as the best axe in LEGO Wars, Bop has showed how clinical they can be with a number of swift KOs and could prove to be a dark horse for the title.
From Hull, Chompromp.
A few bots that confuse the hell out of me for their appearance at this stage, Chompromp is having an Indian summer of sorts as they finally make the bracket in their last series. Don't hold your breath though on them making it much further.
From Adelaide, Australia, and seeded number 11, Chompy.
It was a solid run in the heats as they continued this incredible run of making the bracket and hopes to remain high of finally bringing home a trophy.
From Great Yarmouth, Clodomizer.
After its exploits in the internationals, it was a much more subdued performance from Clod in the heats, but we know there's power in that tail and it could be a real threat in the bracket.
From Bristol, Grab Crab.
In arguably the most stacked heat we've ever had, it was the rookies Grab Crab that edged clear, and that tough lineup may prove vital in preparing them for the knockout stages.
From Dublin and seeded number 18, Detoir.
For a time it looked like we wouldn't see Detour's LEGO Wars career end in the bracket, but they have made it here and can still prove to be a threat tonight.
From Bristol, I'm Mingo.
The wide boy of LEGO Wars emulated the original version of Mingo in making the knockout stages and is determined to finally get a win at this stage.
From Edinburgh and seeded number 14, Mr. Waffle.
This is the fourth appearance for the Bacon Spinner at this stage and they're yet to make it any further, so they'll be desperate to break that duck.
From Brisbane, Australia, Muffin.
After 2 attempts, Muffin has finally made the bracket to make it the new top dog in the series, but the pneumatics haven't been working 100% and she is known to be easily toppled.
From Cybertron, Optimus.
The second of 4 Jevon bots to make the bracket, the rookies have shown they can pack a punch, but that lack of traction may prove its undoing.
From Seoul, South Korea and seeded number 5, Orby Blade.
Our reigning international champs again show that they can tear apart the opposition with a Detoir 23 Red that out to join them on 3 consecutive top 8 finishes.
From Chompromp and seeded number 21, Panic Attack.
After failing to make the bracket last series, the First Wars winners return to this stage again, and with those new forks, we may finally see a renaissance from the Welsh Beast.
From Great Yarmouth and seeded number 24, Sweepy.
Our favourite shuffling boy looked to be a threat once more in the play-ins as they tore apart Calypso and Quantum and could finally be on course to make the top 16.
From Northampton, White Hole.
The full-body spinner returns to this stage for the first time since Series 3, but after their nervy performance against Foxic, they'll be wary of other lifters that could spoil the party. Let's see how the bracket looks for the weeks ahead. As we can see, it was the Third Wars winners Agro who just edged out the top ranking, but they're going to have to break my heart if they wish to progress, as a date with Sweepy is set for later on tonight. Moving over to the top right, and it's another veteran Axe and Shatterstar taking the second ranking, and have fellow Jevon bot Megalodon for company in their clash. Down in the bottom right, there's a really stacked lineup including foes Duck and Tantrum facing off again, while Bricker Brother takes the third ranking to face former grand finalist Graken. And finally, in the bottom left corner where we begin our action tonight, we have the First Wars champs Panic and our current champs Slammo on a potential collision course in the top 8 should the latter get past White Hole in our first fight tonight.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
All the heat have been building up to this, and the bracket of LEGO Wars Series 6 is finally underway. We have the 4 versus 29 clash first of all. Maybe not the way round you'd expect, because it's White Hole who is the 4 taking on reigning champion Slammo, the 29 who have made their way through the play-ins. White Hole, of course, winning their heat on an impressive 10 points. They were superb, weren't they? They tore everything apart from Foxic. Maybe the Team Danby DNA can carry them to victory here, who knows? White Hole, of course, massively improved with the new internals from last series. Slammo Their third appearance in the bracket. Of course, last series they were reigning champions. They won the entire competition. They're going to have to go some this time around to beat Whitehole, I think, who are in a massively ascending position. But look at that good lift there from Slammo. Gets Whitehole off the floor, crashes back down to earth though. Slammo back on the attack, in underneath Whitehole. They get in underneath with those forklifts, trying to prise that shell away. Stop them from causing more damage to Slammo, but they fail to do so there. Slammo, are they going to go for the pit button? Yes, they are. So the reigning champions bailing for the pit already against Whitehole. Whitehole's weapon has now stopped. They have caused quite a lot of damage to Slammo, but Slammo have got the weaponry of Whitehole stopped, and that is, well, what else has Whitehole got? Once that weapon doesn't spin, although it is seemingly starting to spin now, what else could Whitehole do to Slammo? They haven't got pushing power, they certainly haven't got ground game. It's somewhat limited by their incredible weaponry that they've got, but once that weaponry goes down, it's okay again now. But it is limited. Slammo, meanwhile, have got lots of tricks to their trade, lots of strings to their bow, and so far, you'd have to say, despite the early scare and early damage, Slammo have come back into this fight very, very nicely indeed, if you ask me. And they have caused problems to Whitehole. Whitehole up to speed once again, and more damage sustained actually to Whitehole this time. More bits and pieces flying off that shell spinner, and wow, it's much of a muchness at the moment. These two going all out for the first fight of the bracket. The 29th ranked Slammo, the 4th ranked Whitehole for the bracket. Of course, Slammo, our reigning champions, will be hoping for another progression through the competition. Let's see if they can go back to back, of course. Not an impossibility. Certainly won't be an easy thing to accomplish, though. Good push again there by Slammo. That shell of Whitehole is slowly starting to split apart, isn't it? But the weapon is still spinning and it is still causing problems for Slammo. But Slammo, for me, have been resolute throughout this and have kept progressing forward and have been very aggressive, and that weapon is being effective on Slammo, so they're trying to prise the shell away. Doesn't quite manage to do so, but they are pushing Whitehole towards the screws, and we're down to our last few seconds of the fight, so it is going to be a judge's decision between these two. Whitehole couldn't get the knockout on the reigning champions. We go to time between the two, and the judges will decide between Whitehole and Slammo. And so for the second time this series, fighting a Team Danby robot has caused Whitehole quite a lot of headaches. We did see some damage early on, the wedge being ripped away, but Slammo showed why they are the reigning champions. They stayed patient, they used their lifter when they could to good effect. They tried to prise the shell away from Whitehole, weren't quite able to do so, also weren't quite able to guide them down the pit, and a few heavy shots from Whitehole certainly, but I just think Slammo were more in control of the fight throughout.
And the winner by split decision is Slammo. I'm certain Whitehole will never want to see a Danby bot ever again, as the champs just get the nod to continue their title defence. I wonder if we'll see another champ join them in the next round as Panic Attack takes on Mr. Waffle.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Well, one reigning champion has gone through. Will we see a second? Our next fight is the 20 versus 13 match. Two seeded robots for this series. Panic Attack, the former LEGO Wars champions, finishing second in their heat on 8 points. And Mr. Waffle won their heat for the second series in a row. However, they only qualified with 9 points, so it wasn't an emphatic victory in their heat. Panic Attack only scored 1 point less in their heat to qualify for this stage. And also, a note about Mr. Waffle, this is their 4th consecutive series making it through to the bracket. They have never made it past the round of 32, and they're taking on former champions Panic Attack. Plenty of experience, although it has to be said, these days, are they the darlings of the field anymore? Maybe not, but they're doing okay here against Mr. Waffle. They're in underneath Mr. Waffle and using those lifting forks to good effect. In underneath, prizing Mr. Waffle, the bar spinner, caught in the corner. Good control here by Panic Attack. The old dog still got some new tricks, and down the pit goes Mr. Waffle. They fall in the round of 32 once again, and Panic Attack progress to the round of 16. Maybe a bit of stage fright then for Mr. Waffle, considering they've never made it past this stage of the competition in 4 attempts, but maybe it was just Panic Attack rolling back the gears and showing just how good this robot is when it's at its best. Able to control the pace of the fight. Mr. Waffle stuck in the corner. Good control by Panic Attack, levering them off the floor, dragging them over to the pit button, and dumping them straight down the pit. Cool as you like from the former champions.
The curse continues for poor Mr. Waffle as once again their campaign ends in the round of 32. Panic's win though already confirms a better group result for our series champs as we move on to fight 3 of the night between Bop and Chompromp.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
From 2 seeded robots, we have 2 unseeded robots now. The 5 versus 28 clash, 5 being Bop, finishing on 11 points in Heat B, winning that heat. Chompromp finishing second in Heat M on 7 points. They are actually the lowest ranked robot in the entire competition that didn't have to go through the play-ins. Kind of gives you an idea about how our selection committee think Chompromp are going to do. And in this fight here, I would have to say Bob is definitely the robot that you'd say is the favourite, although Chompromp have caused some surprises already this series. Maybe they've got one more or a couple more in their locker. Up to speed goes the weapon there of Chompromp. This, of course, to go through to fight Panic Attack in the round of 16. So a scalp for either of these two potentially on the horizon, though Bob is the one with the better control, I would say, thus far. Chompromp caught between a rock and a hard place, aka between Bob and that section of the arena with the screws and the pit. Chompromp tries to get away but can't outspeed Bop, and Bop is manoeuvring Chompromp towards the pit. It's an inevitability, I think.
6.
And down the pit go Chompromp. The 28 ranked robot goes out. Bop, the 5, goes through to the round of 16. It's definitely been Chompromp's best ever LEGO Wars, but at this stage of the competition you're fighting some serious opposition, and Bop were able to capitalise on a fairly weak opponent at this stage of the competition to make it through to the round of 16. And even that being said, Bop looked pretty good throughout, well controlled. That hammer once again causing problems for their opponents. Chompromp ends up down the pit, but a good run in LEGO Wars Series 6.
Chompromp delivers a result I'd more expect from it as Bop bullies them down the pit and out, leaving just one spot to secure in this quadrant between Clodomizer and Iron Mingo.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1, activate.
Fight number 4 of the night and the final fight of this quadrant of the bracket to secure a place in the round of 16 versus Slammo. We have the rookies Clodomizer, seed 21 for the bracket, and ranked 12 for the bracket we have Iron Mingo, who have not really had a great run of things since LEGO Wars Series 2. If they make it through this round here, it means it will be their equal best run in LEGO Wars history since Series 2. So yeah, this is new ground potentially being tread for both of these two. Iron Mingo thus far this series has been pretty handy and certainly a problematic robot to beat. They won their heat, I can't remember which one, it was Heat L. And Clodomizer, they finished second in their heat in Heat J on 7 points. Iron Mingo winning their heat on 10. Down comes the hammer saw of Iron Mingo. Onto the top of Clodomizer, bits and pieces of Clodomizer all over the arena floor, and actually bits of Iron Mingo as well. So far, you'd have to say Iron Mingo probably on top between the two. Clodomizer may not have been in this position at all had they not had their weapon chain break against Harold, of course, where they, I think subsequently, did they fall down the pit? I can't remember if they fell down the pit or if they just got stuck on their chain and immobilized. I think they went down the pit. I can't remember exactly. I'm sure the comments or the live stream will tell me otherwise. Iron Mingo's weapon comes down once again, and once more. Clodomizer up to speed as well, trying to bring that tail into play. The wings of the Iron Mingo have been clipped and have been deleted from the robot. Clodomizer spins up to speed once again. That weapon has been known to cause problems, but not to Iron Mingo thus far. Iron Mingo fairly resolute in their defence and do pretty well at the moment of bringing that weapon into play. Certainly more effective maybe than the Clodomizer weapon. The wheelie bar at the back as well, keeping them level. Down comes the weapon again of Iron Mingo. Good spin there from Clodomizer. Trying to get that weapon to swing round to the sides and maybe remove a wheel from Iron Mingo. Thus far, the Paradox machine has been the one who's been more difficult to break down and certainly one instigating most of the attacks. Clodomizer spins on the spot. Iron Mingo goes for the pit button once, twice. It doesn't go down that time. Maybe one more try, Lance. There it goes. Don't know how many times asking that was, but the arena budget cuts once again, showing their problems for our channel host David of Spec. Weapon still very much up to speed, and Iron Mingo down on top of Clodomizer once again. Not really causing any major damage though, is it? It's not really disemboweling their opponents. Iron Mingo though, I'd say still in the ascendancy just about. It's a A tentative fight between these two. That's a good attack there from Clodomizer, part of the front fork setup ripped away from Iron Mingo, but we're going to go time between these two. It's not been a thriller, but it has been cagey and tentative between Iron Mingo and Clodomizer. A place against Slammo up for grabs, and the judges will decide who will take it. Two sturdy but not spectacular machines coming into the arena. I have to say, not exactly a thriller, but some good action in there as well. Some hits from Clodomizer wiping away the front end of Iron Mingo. I think certainly affected Iron Mingo's strategy of trying to get in underneath and control and boss the fight. The weapon of Iron Mingo did come down more often than the Clodomizer weapon came into play. I'm not sure how this one's going to pan out. Tough decision, I think, for the judges to decide who goes through to fight Slammo.
And the winner by split decision is Iron Mingo. Clod's going to rue that lost time spent stuck on debris again as they lose a close JD to the Paradox machine to complete this quadrant for the night. Let's move up to the top half of the bracket now, and a Crustacean and a dog have a dinner date with Grab, Crab and Muffin.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Off we go then for our next quadrant of the bracket to begin. We have Muffin the 16 taking on Grab Crab the 17. Of course, Muffin coming second in Heat G after driving their Muffussy off the entire heat until they fought Chompy. Grab Crab, meanwhile, won Heat E on 8 points and are the lowest ranked Heat winner of the series in the bracket, but that is a great lift there from Grab Crab, and Muffin is upside down. They have no self-rising mechanism, and I think Muffin is going home here at this early stage of the bracket in the round of 32. Grab Crab, the rookies, they won their heat by 1 point on 8 points. It was the lowest total
6
points won in the heat this series, but they go through here. Muffin down the pit. It's a sad end for Muffin, who had a great series. Grab Crab through to the round of 16. Well, maybe Grab Crab had a bit of a chip on their shoulder being ranked lower than a heat runner-up. Of course, they only got 8 points in their heat victory, so were seeded quite low for the bracket, but one flip here was all it took. Up and over went Muffin. No self-riding mechanism. The fight was over as a contest, and as we know, Jevon hates Muffin. He has fought her every single series and often comes out on the receiving end of an embarrassing loss, but not this time. Down the pit goes Muffin. I'm sure Jevon will be delighted about that. Grab Crab through to the round of 16.
I was hoping that fight would last a tad longer, but Crab was not messing around as it disposes of Muffin in under 40 seconds. I doubt the next fight will be any shorter than that, but we might be seeing Detoir's farewell fight as they're against one of the favourites in Orby Blade.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Off we go then for the 9 versus 24 clash. Orby Blade the 9, Detoir the 24. These two both finished second in their respective heats. Detoir on 7 points, Orby Blade finishing on 10 points, which is quite a lot. There's a reason why they're ranked so highly, even though they didn't win the heat, and they're above 6 different heat winners in the bracket in terms of their ranking as well. But they weren't at their best in the heat. They managed to get through despite all the issues that they had. I think Bricker Brother was the winner of their heat, if I remember correctly. Yes, it was in Heat C. Orby Blade last time around were a quarter-finalist, hence the 5th ranking. And of course, they also won the international special as well. They beat Ripperoni in the final for South Korea. Detoir, however, at the moment, you have to say, are in the pound seat, because I think Orby Blade has lost one side of drive. Look, they're crab walking on one side. And Detoir here, I'm amazed to say this, have a real opportunity to get through to the round of 16. They made out in the round of 32 last time around, and this is their 4th consecutive round of 32 appearance in a row, but so far it's looking pretty good for Detoir. Orby Blade here pinned in the corner, they can't get out, they are being counted down and out, and Detoir, I bet everyone's predictions have been ruined by this one, have beaten Orby Blade. In the round of 32, Orby Blade go home, Detoir go through to the round of 16. Clearly, Orby Blade still haven't recovered from the fever dream that was Heat C, because that was such a shame and such a missed opportunity for Orby Blade. You'd have bet the farm on them beating Detoir, but no, one side of drive was pinned almost from the get-go. Detoir, despite their early antics this series, have recovered very well to progress to the round of 16 for only the 2nd time in their careers. Orby Blade out!
Well, I guess Detoir has some unclaimed luck in the tank as Orby's dreams of the double end in a disappointing whimper. That means the 18th seeds move on to face the winners of our next fight between Optimus and Chompy.
Robot ears, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Off we go then for our penultimate fight of the night, and it is two Retcon Robotics machines taking each other on in the round of 32. We have Chompy 2, the number 8, taking on Optimus, the number 25. Chompy 2, of course, winning the same heat that Muffin was in earlier. We saw Muffin earlier in Heat G. They were able to be the only ones to stop Muffin's reign of terror in that heat, pitting them. And they're taking on Optimus, who finished second in Heat E behind Grab Crab, exploding Mecha Bowser's head, if you remember back that far. Chasing down its older sibling or cousin or whatever you want to say, stablemate, is Optimus. Down comes the Hammer Saw over and over again. The rookies, their first LEGO Wars, had a decent run to get to the round of 32. No shame in that. Chompy 2, of course, have had some great performances in the past. They were the 13th seed at the start of this series. Made it to the round of 16 last time around. Can they get through to the round of 16 once again this time? They've finished in the top 8 in the past. That's their best performance in LEGO Wars history. Can they progress to the same stage again, I wonder, this time around? A place against Detoir in the next round is available for either of these two. Down comes the Hammer Saw over and over again of Optimus, trying to bring it into play, and has caused damage, look, to Chompy 2. There is certainly damage there at the front end of Chompy 2. Optimus has caused problems. The pit has another moment. It must be the heat. On the day I'm recording, this is actually the day before you're seeing this. It's currently 34 degrees Celsius. It's quite hot. We don't have air conditioning in the UK, so if you're American, please pray for me. Down comes the weapon of Optimus, and I think Optimus' weapon has actually split and broken. Look, it is rattling around like a proverbial brick in a washing machine, and that is really hampering the effectiveness now of Optimus. They're trying their best, but they're shaking, and it's really not helping. And at the moment, Chompy 2, I would say now, is in the ascendancy because they have got a fully functional robot, a fully effective robot, and they're pushing Optimus around the arena at will and down the pit. Will go Optimus, or will Chompy 2 go with them? Can Chompy 2 get away? They're both down the pit. What on earth happens now? So I've been told as Optimus hit the floor of the pit first before Chompy 2 kind of drew in as well, they were knocked out. So Chompy 2 will be going through to the round of 16, beating their stablemates and teammates in Optimus. Optimus did a very good job, I thought, causing damage to Chompy 2, which is a rare thing to see. The Hammer Saw clearly very effective and something to build on in future series, but Chompy 2's control too strong. The weapon of Optimus breaking was the final nail in the coffin, and good control by Chompy 2 to get their opponents down the pit.
That lack of grip sends Optimus packing for Series 6 as Chompy again shows their credentials as one of the most consistent bots in the series. Now we have just one fight left tonight, everybody, and I won't lie, past David has been a very cruel dem in setting my two favourite children against one another with a spot on the top 16 on the line. I'm gonna be bittersweet whoever wins this fight, so send Wubber and Sweepy in and let's get on with it.
Roboteers, stand by. 3, 2, 1. Activate.
Our final fight of the night then is the 1 versus 32 match between Agro, Wubber and Sweepy. Well, Sweepy had to progress through the play-ins. Agro, Wubber won its heat in some style in Heat A. We haven't seen it for such a long time. They, of course, finished on 10 points in Heat A. Sweepy finishing on 7 in Heat C, progressed through the play-ins to get to this stage. Agro, of course, former LEGO Wars champions, have been at this stage many times in its career before. Last time around, didn't make it to the bracket, of course. Has done a really good job, though, in coming back very strongly, I feel, this time around. Agro, Wubber, down comes the hammer over and over again on top of Sweepy. Damage has been sustained, though, by the former champions. Sweepy trying their best to upset their stablemates as well, I suppose, in some degree. Is Agro, Wubber. Agro pushing Sweepy back towards the corner of the arena. Good control by Agro, Wubber as well. The front wedge, though, has been completely split apart here. And this is a real good rivalry between the two thus far. Two of the poster children of LEGO Wars. They've never fought before in LEGO Wars history. Davis Meg, of course, watching this fight between their fingers. Sweepy comes towards Agro, Wubber again. There's a massive shot once more, but look at the batteries, well, hanging out the back, or is it the signal controllers? I don't know. Something's hanging out the back of Sweepy. It doesn't look like it's meant to be there. Certainly, an Agro, Wubber has taken a huge shot to the front so many times, in fact, that the front end is all twisted and bent and buckled. Has always been ripped away. Good control by Agro, Wubber again, though, pushing their opponents towards the pit. Sweepy, can they shuffle away from there in time? The former champions looking pretty good thus far. Can they get Sweepy down the pit? The number 1. ranked machine in the bracket this time round, and down the pit goes Sweepy. They once again fall in the round of 32. This is where they fell last year, and Agro go through to the round of 16.
What have I done?
It was a high-octane fight right from the off, with Agro going straight in underneath Sweepy with that wedge at the front, and Sweepy gave some huge hits, which, considering how poor they were during the heat, we've not really been seeing those huge shots from Sweepy this series, and it was really lovely to see Agro taking shot after shot after shot. It could have been a nightmare had the weapon kept spinning, but fortunately for them, Agro were able to gain control of the fight and push Sweepy down the pit, and the number one goes through to the round of 16.
Good night, my Sweepy Prince, and a flight of angels will sing thee to thy rest. Agro does the job I could barely find the strength to do, to somehow survive the heavy damage and dump Sweepy down the pit and out of the competition. It's been a fast and frenetic night to start the Series 6 bracket, as all three of our series champs survived scares to keep their campaigns going, while we've lost two of our favourites in Whitehole and Orby as they failed their victory spin. That's all from us tonight, but join us next time when we'll see what the right hand side of the bracket has in store for us. For now though, I've been your host David Smeg, and we'll see you in the next one.
Put new vests in the baby.
Yeah,
That wouldn't shock me.
my child is vest powered.
Can you reprogram my child? It's not working properly.
Safe start
Is that how
for
they
my
do-
child.
It keeps going into the alarm state.